जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ पादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषण्यवादी पाश्चात्य वाचालं पंगुं वेदे गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं हरि ओम तत्सत्। So, like to welcome all the devotees to the Chaitanya Pravaha series. We are continuing our discussion of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 14 of the Madhya Lila. This chapter is entitled Performance of the Vrindavana Pastimes. What is the context of the Vrindavan pastimes? Context of the Vrindavan pastimes is we are discussing that pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in connection with the Ratha Yatra, where the Ratha has now reached Gundicha Mandir. It has moved from Neelachala, where the Jagannath temple, and it has come to Sundarachala. Sundarachala is where the Gundicha temple is situated. So the Lord has traversed with Balabhadra, Subhadra, from Dwaraka to Vrindavan. So while the Lord is in Gundicha, Lord Jagannath himself is in the mood of being in Vrindavan. So that's the whole idea. Lord comes there to take some time out from the opulent, formal environment of Dwarka and come to the simple, homely, sweet, loving Madhurya relationships of the residents of Vrindavan. So 9 days the Lord spends the Gundicha temple. In this chapter, at least what is coming of this chapter, what we are about to discuss, is about Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in those 9 days. Very sweet. Well, Lord Chaitanya, also in the mood of a devotee, as a follower of Srimati Radharani, is also in the Vrindavan mood. Of course, Lord Chaitanya is always in the Vrindavan mood, but more so here in the company of Jagannath, in the mood of a servant of the servant of Srimati Radharani. Lord Chaitanya and all his associates, all the devotees from Bengal, if you remember, they would come every year. They're all there. What we discussed in the previous chapter is how they danced along the Rath Yatra. They came to the Balagandi place where hundreds of devotees offer Naivedya to Jagannath, standing around the Ratha, holding their offerings and offering. Jagannath accepts everything. Then the Lord, having been apparently exhausted, goes and rests in the garden nearby. And then we discuss at great length the beautiful episode of Maharaj Pratap Rudra, prodded by his counselor, Sarvam Bhattacharya, approached Mahaprabhu, dressed as a mendicant. He goes, he presses, massages Mahaprabhu's feet, and we discuss that whole beautiful pastime of how he recites the beautiful verses from the uh, Srimad Bhagavatam. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibiridhitam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Vigrinanti ye Buridajan. Chaitanya is so happy and embraces him. So Lord Chaitanya in a very beautiful way delivers his mercy. Maharaj Pratap Rudra was so persistent, he never lost hope. Very wonderful example actually. Being in such a powerful position. Usually those who are in very powerful, rich positions, for them to become humble is very difficult because there is a sense of entitlement. Very strong sense of entitlement. Why I am not getting what I expect, why I'm not being treated. And in this case, everybody was able to get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya, except this one person, the king. And the king was not just a king, he was a pure devotee. He was arranging everything for Lord Chaitanya's devotees. He gave full pension retirement to Ramanand Rai. He was taking care of the service of Jagannath, and he was doing so. He was arranging all the residences for the devotees of Lord Chaitanya when they would come to Puri for the Chaturmas period, the 4 months. I mean, when you are a devotee, when you're doing so much and all that, if a devotee gets neglected, apparently neglected by the Lord, because the Lord never neglects the devotee, but sometimes devotee may feel, oh, the Lord is neglecting me. There is a kind of bitterness which may creep in. There may be some lack of faith. Maharaj Pratap Rudra kept on hoping against hope, even though it was a flat no from Lord Chaitanya. And he was determined to the extent of giving up his life. And he was not just making a political statement with a banner, I am going to give up my life, put on TikTok and Facebook and, get, some create an activist movement against Lord Chaitanya. He's so cruel. He's like this. He's merciless. He's hard-hearted. So all these episodes actually show the character of a devotee. Why we are repeating this again and again is we have to understand from these episodes what is the character of a devotee in terms of his patience, his faith, their service attitude. All these are unshakable in spite of so many uh, calamities, so many apparent reversals. So amazing. Anyway, so that was a very beautiful event. Finally, Maharaj Pratap Rudra getting that mercy, not just an ordinary mercy, but a very loving embrace from Lord Chaitanya himself. What more can we expect? Sometimes those who are not truly pure devotees, they think the perfection of life is to have darshan of God and get some blessing from him. But we as pure devotees are not really keen. I mean, that's okay, that's wonderful. But our highest attainment is not that just God gives us darshan and gives us some blessing, fulfill what we want. Our ultimate aspiration is to develop a loving relationship with the Lord and be engaged in His service. And what can be a greater blessing than from the Lord than being lovingly embraced by Him? Right? Being lovingly embraced, or when He looks at the devotee very affectionately and lovingly, that is the perfection for a devotee. So many devotees in Vraja, not each and every devotee even gets direct physical association with Krishna. Some of the cowherd boys play, so they get that direct interaction with the Lord. Some of the gopis, especially the close ones, Radharani and the Ashtasakis and some of the close Manjaris may get some very close interaction with Krishna and Radharani. But the vast majority, millions and billions, and I don't know how many quadrillions of pure devotees, premi bhaktas in the spiritual world, they are serving Krishna in various ways. They are just so perfectly satisfied by serving Radha and Krishna and just getting that one glance, loving glance from Krishna. And this is Krishna's very special ability. If we were to glance at one quadrillion living entities, first of all, our glance doesn't have much value, but even if it was valuable, we will take the rest of eternity. But Krishna is so unlimited and full of potencies that he can simultaneously personally look at whoever he wants to cast his glance on, look them into the eyes and smile. So if there is any aspiration we can have, of course, service is definitely an aspiration. But in terms of a special blessing, this is a wonderful blessing to seek. That someday the Lord will look us into the eyes and give us a very affectionate smile. Because if he embraces us, that is, but that's a bit uncommon. Anyway, Maharaj Prataparudra, being such an exalted devotee, achieved that great good fortune. And after this episode, we discussed how all the devotees sat together in this garden. They all had prasad. Varninath Rai had arranged Jagannath's Mahaprasad based on the instructions of Maharaj Prataparudra. Ample prasad. And we discussed the prasad at length, all the items, and how Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees honored prasad. Lord Chaitanya was enthusiastic to serve prasad first. This is a devotee. A devotee is not waiting when he will, be served. He's more enthusiastic to serve. So he was serving, but no devotees were honoring. So finally, they made him sit down, and then everybody honored prasad. Mahaprabhu ensured everybody eats up to here. So once in a while to eat up to here is okay in our tradition, not regularly. Because it was Lord Chaitanya's very intense desire that devotees eat to their full satisfaction. Anyway, so that was a very beautiful episode, and then the Lord was taking rest. So meanwhile, outside, obviously they were in the garden on the main road, the Ratha was waiting. Lord Jagannath was having his feast at Balagandi, eating all the offerings, hours and hours. It's not mentioned how long, but assuming hours went by. So finally, after that whole beautiful ritual of offering of love, the various offerings got completed. It was time for the Ratha continuous journey towards Gundicha. So again, all the devotees got together, they held the ropes of the Ratha and they started pulling. But very strangely, the Ratha wouldn't move. The official pullers of the Ratha are known as Gaudas. That's their official name. They are engaged. There are different services to Lord Jagannath. There's a set of servants of Jagannath whose seva is to pull the Rath. They pulled and pulled, couldn't. Then they got wrestlers, very, very powerful wrestlers to pull the Rath. The Rath wouldn't move. Maharaj Prataparudra finally came and said, let me try, maybe, because he's the first servant of Jagannath. Maybe if I request Jagannath, Jagannath may move. So he came and he tried to pull, not because he was thinking himself more powerful than the wrestlers. He tried to pull. Jagannath wouldn't move. King got very worried what to do. The Rath is not moving in the middle of the road, stuck. He got huge elephants. The king of Puri is known as Gajapati. He's the lord of many elephants. Got many powerful elephants, and they were roped to the Ratha, and the elephants are pulling till the Ratha wouldn't move. Everybody is like, alas, frustrated, not. And the king is in the most anxiety because he has to solve this problem. He's praying, he's trying, he's reached his wit's end. The Mahouts who were sitting on the elephants, they were, poking the elephants with the goad to make them apply more force. Elephants were bleeding, but the Rath wouldn't move. There was huge commotion outside. Meanwhile, Lord Chaitanya and his associates, after having taken their rest, they danced, they ate prasad, they rested for a while, they came out. They were watching all this. Elephants, this, that. So they were amused. So Lord Chaitanya, he saw all this was happening. Uh, you know, they requested that let the elephants go, unyoke the elephants. And then Lord Chaitanya told his own devotees, please go and hold the rope. Cleared everybody else aside. His own devotees were holding the rope. And then Lord Chaitanya himself went to the back of the cart. He went to the back of the cart, and from the behind Jagannath's cart, touched his transcendental forehead, his head, the Ratha. From behind, he gently applied force on the Ratha. And as soon as Lord Chaitanya touched his head and pushed, there was a huge rattling sound in the Ratha. The Ratha started to move again. Haribol, Haribol. All the devotees are screaming in joy. All glories, all praise to Jagannath. Nobody could hear anything else. There was a tumultuous roar. The cart started moving. And you know what was the amazing thing? The devotees of Lord Chaitanya who were holding the rope hadn't even started pulling yet. So the Ratha started moving even when without them applying force, which means the only force which was being applied on the Rath was that of Lord Chaitanya touching his forehead. Everybody was amazed that what so many elephants couldn't do, what all the most powerful wrestlers couldn't do. This personality, Lord Chaitanya, I'm talking about from the perspective of the common devotees who had gathered there. He is so powerful, he is so great that he can make the Ratha move. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya were simply holding the rope. It was practically that the Ratha was moving by itself. So all the devotees were very, very happy. So this was a very wonderful, beautiful episode which happened. Maharaj Pratap Rudra was also so amazed and struck with wonder. He, his ministers, and all the devotees. It is said there were goosebumps. The hair on the body was standing on end, seeing this great feat by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So from Balagandi, the Ratha started moving on. Very soon, the Ratha reached its final destination, which is Gundicha Mandir, because Balagandi is not very far from Gundicha Mandir. So the Ratha reached Gundicha Mandir, and as soon as the Ratha reaches, then there is the ritual of bringing Lord Jagannath down. Balabhadra, Subhadra, they were brought down. A very beautiful ritual. And then they were taken inside Gundicha temple, where there is a beautiful asan made for them, where they are placed. So even if you go during non-Rath Yatra time, you can go to that mandap and see where Jagannath is usually placed at his Rath Yatra. So, so that's a very beautiful darshan. It's a darshan of Lord Jagannath who comes to Vrindavan. I just remembered something, so I'm share a very sweet episode. So this happened many years ago. It was Rath Yatra time, and I was remembering Lord Jagannath, and suddenly it so happened I suddenly got a call, and this was one devotee who was attending my classes. He said, "Prabhu, I am here in Jagannath Puri, and someone wants to speak to you. Speak to me. So he gave the phone to somebody. And that somebody was one of the close pujaris of Jagannath. And he turned on the video, and it was in Gundicha Mandir, and Lord Jagannath was sitting on the altar next to him, and he's showing me, see, this is Jagannath in the Gundicha temple, the main deity sitting there on the altar, and I got a very beautiful uh, darshan of Lord Jagannath sitting there. So it was very special, because it was to me as if Jagannath is giving very kindly that special arrangement, allow me to take the darshan. So Jagannath is very kind. And so Jagannath was taken in the temple, and he was placed on that altar. And after that, of course, Baladev, Subhadra, they were also established on the rathas. So it is said Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees who had gathered after Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra were established on their asana, started performing a tumultuous kirtan. This whole Gundicha time is a very beautiful complex, and there is a space also inside. Also, there's a small space where there is a courtyard where kirtan can be performed. Of course, around the temple also there complex. There is a garden where kirtan can be performed. So Lord Chaitanya would perform with great jubilation, chanting and dancing in this yard. Lord Chaitanya would be greatly overwhelmed with ecstatic love, because his mood multiplied many times over. Lord Chaitanya is always in the mood of Braja, but now that Jagannath is in Vrindavan, what is the mood of Radharani and the gopis? Bring Krishna from Dwarka to Vrindavan. Now Krishna has come back to Vrindavan. So Lord Chaitanya and all his associates were in totally different mood. They were dancing and dancing. Whoever would see Lord Chaitanya and the devotees dancing, they would also be imbued with love of God. So throughout the day, the kirtan was going on. Then after the kirtan in the evening, the Lord attended the arati, Lord Jagannath. And it is said after the arati, the Lord went and took rest at a place known as Aitota. Aitota. Tota means garden. So there was a Aitota place just next to the Gundicha temple. So it is said Lord Chaitanya chose to stay there in the Aitota area for all the 9 days that Lord Jagannath resides in Gundicha temple. Lord, so I will not go anywhere. I am going to be here. He didn't go and stay in his Gambhira room in the house of Kashim. Stay at Aitota. So he took rest at Aitota. And for the 9 days that Lord Chaitanya resided in Aitota, because regularly it is said morning, evening, he and his devotees would go and perform Sankirtan in the courtyard of the Gundicha temple. Beautiful ecstatic kirtan. And for each of the 9 days, it is said different devotees would invite Lord Chaitanya for lunch, headed by Advaita Acharya. So all the prominent devotees, all the 9 names are not mentioned here, but the 9 most prominent senior devotees, Grahasthas, many of whom would come from Bengal and spend time in Puri for the Chaturmas. 9 days, different senior devotees. And every day the Lord would honor lunch in the home of one of these Grahastha devotees. Of course, this schedule of the Lord having lunch at the homes of devotees didn't end with the 9-day period. That was the period for the the Jagannath being in Gundicha Mandir. But he said for the entire Chaturmasya period, this was pretty regular. Whenever the devotees from Bengal would come, they would all be eager to invite Lord Chaitanya to their own homes for lunch. So once these 9 prominent devotees had the opportunity, all the other devotees, they would extend their invitation. So the Lord would go to different devotees' homes. And there were so many invitations for Lord Chaitanya. Who would not want to invite Lord Chaitanya? Would you have wanted to invite Lord Chaitanya to your home and serve? Just like even when our own spiritual masters come, so much we want that they should come to our home, we should be able to serve them. So devotees were so eager. And because there were so many invitations, in fact, on some of the days, 2, 3 families would get together and cook a meal and jointly serve Lord Chaitanya. Because within that 3, 4 months, there were not enough lunch appointments. So that each and every person would have individual exclusive association. And they said, even after that, at the end of the Chaturmas period, there were still pending invitations which the Lord couldn't honor. So this was very interesting. Anyway, so going back to the Lord's stay, the 9-day period. So the Lord rested at Aitota on the first day after doing his after the Aarti. He went to Aitota and he rested. Early the next day morning, after the Ratha had reached and Jagannath was in Gundicha Mandir, Lord Chaitanya went to take darshan of Lord Jagannath and he performed Sankirtan. And as usual, the Lord, when he would get into Kirtan and dancing, he would ask various devotees to sing and dance. He asked Advaitacharya this time, dance. Sometimes he would ask Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, Achyutananda to dance. Amongst the famous dancers is Vakreshwara Pandit. God would love to see the dancing of Vakreshwara. So as I mentioned earlier, 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, evening, all these devotees would gather and perform Sankirtan, the yard of the Guru. And Lord Chaitanya at this time was always in the mood of Krishna has come back to Vrindavan. Krishna has come. So when the Lord was in Nilachal, he was feeling more separation, but now his mood became different. Rather than feeling intense separation, he's feeling the mood of, oh, now Krishna has come back to him. So Lord Chaitanya was in a very different mood. That's why this chapter or this section of the chapter is especially referred to as Pastimes in Vrindavan. Because Lord Chaitanya and all the devotees were in the mood of how the gopis will feel when Krishna comes back. So Lord Chaitanya during this entire period would intensely be absorbed in the meditation on the pastimes of Radha and so around the Gundicha temple there are many gardens. The Lord performed the Vrindavan pastimes in all these gardens. Especially these gardens are known as beautiful gardens. They are known as the Jagannath Vallabha gardens. The gardens which are dear to Lord Jagannath. Why? Because they are very Vrindavan-like. Because Lord Chaitanya also observed, and you would see this, these trees and these creepers and this whole environment so much reminds me of Vrindavan. So that whole setting was very Braj-like. So Jagannath would feel very much in the Vrindavan mood there. And Lord Chaitanya also transformed himself to the mood of Vrindavan. And in that nearby area, along with the Jagannath Vallabh Gardens, there's also a lake known as the Indradumna Sarovar, just next to it. Indradumna Maharaj is the first king who actually invited, or because of whose devotion Jagannath appeared in this world. So there's this Indradumna Sarovar. So all the devotees, after they would perform a lot of kirtan, they would all go into this water of Indradumna Sarovar. And especially when you're very tired, when you have danced a lot and in the heat, and after that to enter the cooling waters of Indradumna Sarovar was so nice. Aha. And so much fun because they were all in a Vrindavan-like mood. See, Lord Chaitanya himself, along with all the devotees, he started splashing water just like children playing. Lord Chaitanya started splashing water on all the devotees with love. The devotees also, with loving reciprocation, started, splashing water on the Lord. It is said sometimes they would make one circle, sometimes they would make multiple circles, and they would play in the water. They would sit in the water and play kartal and sing. Some devotees, it is said, they would make funny sounds like the croaking of frogs. So they were in a very playful mood. Playful mood is very much the mood of Vrindavan. Informal, full of love, full of spontaneity, full of affection. So it looked as if, all these great devotees, they were behaving like they were teenage children playing in the water. It is a sometimes two devotees inspired by this splashing would get into a water fight. I don't know how many of you have ever done this, but doing this water fight, you splash one party with water and the other party splashes. Whoever backs out loses. So different devotees would pair and they would, splash each other. And it didn't matter who won or who lost, both would be very happy. And Lord Chaitanya was enjoying. They said first, this match, this duel of water happened between Advaitacharya and Nityananda. Advaitacharya was defeated. And Advaitacharya, when he was defeated, very lovingly he started chastising Nityananda and calling him names. Advaitacharya and Nityananda Prabhu had a very loving relationship where they were they would often, in a loving way, argue and fight with each other. It was all exchanges of love, but externally it would seem as if one is angry with the other. Then Sarup Damodar and Vidyanidhi, they also started. Murari Gupta and Vasudev Datta, they were dueling in the water. Srivas Thakur Gadadhar Pandit, Raghav Pandit and Vakreshwar, all these pairs of devotees were splashing. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya was splashing water with Ramanand Rai. Ramanand Rai, such a ex-governor. Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya, the eldest Brahmana, the Raj Purohit. Lord Chaitanya was laughing, seeing, what is this very grave, learned Vedantists, advanced senior devotees, like small children splashing water on each other. And Lord Chaitanya was having a hearty smile. And Gopinath Rai, who's the brother-in-law of Sarvam Bhattacharya, he spoke to him and he was laughing and telling, tell this Bhattacharya and tell this Ramanand Rai, don't behave like children. What is this? You are grave senior people. What is this? You are learned scholars. And Gopinath Acharya understood that the Lord is just speaking in a playful way. So Lord Gopinath Acharya tells Lord Chaitanya, oh Lord, what to do? One drop of your mercy has transformed them into like this. They were all, especially Sarvam Bhattacharya was a dry logician. But by one drop of your mercy, they are behaving like this. Your mercy is so great, my Lord. Even Mount Sumeru can be drowned by your mercy. These two are just small mountains in comparison to Sumeru. So how can they not be drowned in your mercy? So when Gopinath Acharya spoke like this, Lord Chaitanya started smiling. And he called for Advaitacharya. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya would call Advaitacharya Nada. He called out to Advaitacharya, waved out, and he indicated to him that he should act as if he is Ananta Shesha. So Advaitacharya started laying down in the water, floating, acting as if he is Ananta Shesha. And Lord Chaitanya entered the water and he laid down on the floating Advaitacharya. And the Lord acted as if he is Lord Hari, resting on Ananta Shesha. Mind you, Advaitacharya did not sink. Advaitacharya used his spiritual potency to float. So it looked as if actually Ananta is there, and on Ananta, Lord Hari is resting. So very sweet scene. So Again, I just want to mention, we were also very fortunate. We went to the Indradumna Sarovar and we also did this splashing many, many years ago. So just recollecting this, because we are insignificant, but in recollection of these wonderful pastimes, Maharaj narrated these pastimes and we were recollecting these beautiful episodes which happened in this place 500 years ago. So after this beautiful sporting pastimes completed, Lord Chaitanya went back to his resting place at Aitota, and Advaitacharya had invited, that was the first day. That was the day Advaitacharya had invited Lord Chaitanya home for lunch. Along with Advaitacharya, other devotees, very, very senior devotees, senior sannyasis who were god brothers of Lord Chaitanya's group, Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, all these very, very senior devotees also went to the house of Advaitacharya, have lunch, and then whatever prasad was left, especially whatever Vaninath Rai had brought as Jagannath Mahaprasad, after that, all the devotees honored, the other devotees honored. So they said that day afternoon, so this was the lunch pastime, in the afternoon, the Lord again went to Jagannath's, the Gundicha temple. So morning kirtan, bathing, water splashing, lunch, little bit rest, again kirtan, again dance. And then it is said after dancing for some time, the Lord went into the gardens along with his devotees to enjoy the pastimes of Vrindavan. It said the place was very beautiful. I think I described this already. Beautiful, beautiful trees, beautiful creepers, flowers. Lord Chaitanya was happy to see them. The trees and the flowers are also happy to see Lord Chaitanya. How do trees and flowers see? Because the trees in the Holy Dham are not ordinary trees, they're Kalpa Vriksha. So the Holy Dham is very, very special. So beautifully, the birds were chirping, the bees were buzzing, cool breeze was blowing, perfect mood of Vrindavan, perfect environment of Vrindavan. The simple yet extraordinarily sweet opulence of Braja. This is the opulence of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is not opulent because of lot of gold and jewels like Dwarka is. But Vrindavan's opulence is of a superior quality. It is forest opulence. It is even more beautiful. It is even more satisfying. So the Lord went into that mode. So Vrindavan pastime. So Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami especially clarifies that this Vrindavan pastime is referring, doesn't mean that Krishna was the Lord Chaitanya was in the mood of he was dancing with the gopis. No, not in that spirit. Lord Chaitanya was never in the spirit of Krishna in these episodes. He was always in the spirit of a servant of Radharani. So he was always in that. The whole mood of all the devotees is Krishna has come back to Braja. We are all assistants and servants of Radharani. So they were all in that mood. So it is said Vasudeva Datta, very close devotees of the Lord, was a very expert singer like Mukunda and others, Mukunda, Sanjaya, Vasudev Datta. These are all first class Kirtan devotees. God would love to hear from them. Vasudev Datta started singing. He said, under each different tree, Vasudev Datta sing a beautiful different song. Lord Chaitanya would dance in ecstasy. And Vakreshwar Pandit, who is known as the best dancer amongst all devotees, Lord Chaitanya. As soon as Vasudeva Datta would break into a song, Vakreshwar Pandit would break into a step. He would start dancing. Lord Chaitanya also would become mad in ecstasy. He also start singing. All other devotees also. Turn by turn, Sarup Damodar and others would also sing. Even sometimes Lord Chaitanya would himself sing. And all these devotees would be so lost in that mood of being in Braj that they would have no sense of time. So this would go on and on and on until afternoon, until late afternoon, and then late afternoon they would go and take bath in another lake, Narendra Sarovar, which is on the opposite side of the road, if you have been there. So Indradumna Sarovar is a much smaller lake. Uh, it is next to the Narasingha temple. It's on the right hand side. There is a Gaudiya Math temple not far from there. Narendra Sarovar is a much more bigger lake uh, where the devotees would then go and perform sporting pastimes. And then after Lord Chaitanya and the devotees had taken their bath the late afternoon, then they would again come back and accept prasad. So this is a sample one-day schedule explained of what Lord Chaitanya and his devotees would do when they were in around the Gundicha area. Lord was deciding at 8 o'clock. Morning, afternoon, evening, kirtan, then bathing, then prasad, little bit rest, then again kirtan, dancing, bathing, prasad, and all full absorption, the beautiful transcendental pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So it's wonderful life, right? Being pure devotees is wonderful. Sing, dance, eat, socialize, and be in wonderful, beautiful places. Everybody likes to do this, isn't it? So pure devotees also like to do this. What is the difference? They do it by keeping Krishna in the center, a selfless spirit. And in that way, their lives become glorious and they can actually achieve the real satisfaction of their heart. As long as living entities try to become happy by giving pleasure to their own senses, they will always remain in a state of frustration. Atmendriya pritivanchatar balekam, Krishnendriya pritivancha dhare premana. Desire to please one's own senses is known as kama or lust. And desire to please the senses of Krishna as love. Dhare premana, Krishnendriya pritivancha dhare premana. So like this beautiful pastimes happened around that area, Jagannath Vallabh Gardens, for 9 days. So 9 days is the period for which Jagannath is at Gundicha temple. Now the interesting thing is that when Jagannath leaves Jagannath Puri, Nilachal, actually he wants to go to Vrindavan, but when he's missing Vrindavan, he tells his wife, Lakshmi Devi. Correct? Husband, when he has to go somewhere, after marriage, the thing is he has to inform his wife, I'm going somewhere. Otherwise, the wife gets very angry. Where did you go? So, wife, just going out for a drive with my brother and sister, just gone. One day I will be back, in one day. It's okay, one day, no problem. I'll feel separation, but it's okay, I can manage one day. So he tells Lakshmi Devi, for one day I'm going, but Lord Jagannath has no intention to come back in one day. Lord Jagannath is in Gundicha temple. Lord Jagannath is having a gala time. Baldev, Subhadra, Radharani, Gopis, the residents of Vrindavan. He's having a gala time. He's not looking at watch. He's not looking at day, afternoon, evening. Lakshmi Devi is checking time. Arey? One day went by. He's not here. What happened? Another day went by. Where is my husband? She doesn't know the husband has gone to meet his girlfriends. Oh, Braja. Radharani and the gopis were Krishna's sweethearts when he was in Braj. So, Mother Lakshmi starts wondering what has happened to my husband. Where is he gone? So she starts becoming angry and disturbed. So there is a very beautiful pastime. They said this pastime or this festival is known as the Hera Panchami. Hera means to see and Panchami means the 5th day. So after waiting for 4 days, I think before that, Mother Lakshmi sends her spies, find out what is going on. When the news comes, Jagannath is having no separation from you. He's having good time there. Mother Lakshmi says, this is too much. My husband went there. He has forgotten me. He's happy with his, with Radharani and the other gopis. I must do something. I must get him back. So she, being Mahalakshmi, she dresses up, beautifully, wears the best of ornaments, takes a big procession, all her maid servants, and the big procession. She goes, catch Jagannath first hand and to bring him back. So that's a very beautiful festival. So this whole ritual is actually enacted every year. And this is known as the Hera Panchami or Lakshmi Vijaya festival. So the next day was going to be this festival, Hera Panchami, the fifth day. Maharaj Pratap Rudra told Kashi Mishra, said this year, Lord Chaitanya is personally here. I'm staying at Aitota. I want this Hera Panchami festival to be celebrated in the most grand manner. Must be observed in such a way that Lord Chaitanya must be very, very pleased. Do the best of decoration. How much beautiful printed cloth you need? Take it all. Any number of bells you need, umbrellas, chamaras, everything in my storehouse you take. My storehouse in the DT room, storehouse, whatever you select thousands of flags and decorate the whole place. Beautiful bells, beautiful decorations, have beautiful musical instruments being played, dancers dancing around this procession. First class, I want Lord Chaitanya to be happy. And double the quantity of prasad that you are going to be served. Because Maharaj Prataparudra had consistently observed that Lord Chaitanya becomes very happy to see profuse quantity of Krishna prasad being distributed to all the devotees. So this is our ISKCON movement is Lord Chaitanya's movement, right? Sing, dance, eat prasad. If you see Mahaprabhu's pastimes, it is that only. Sing for Krishna, dance for Krishna, and eat Krishna prasad. So double the quantity of Krishna prasad. Correct? Even in the Guruvashtak, Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavad Prasado Swadvanna Triptam Haribhat. That the spiritual master is happy to see the devotees honoring prasad. Make so much prasad, Maharaj Pratap Rudra said that it should even it should exceed the quantity of prasad we make during the Rath Yatra. And make arrangements such a way that Lord Chaitanya and his devotees are very, very comfortable and taken care. They can take darshan of the deities very nicely. They're given a nice place to sit from where they can see this whole ritual. So Maharaj Pratap was very meticulous. He would pay great attention to detail. He would do detailed planning personally. Make sure everything is very nicely arranged. Detailed directions for how to make all wonderful arrangements in the service of them. So finally, the day of Hera Panchami arrived. And Lord Chaitanya, along with all his associates, as usual, went to meet and take darshan of Lord Jagannath at Sundarachal temple. And then, after taking darshan, Lord Chaitanya and his devotees went to Nilachal, Jagannath's temple, because they wanted to see this entire Hera Panchami festival. Right from the point that Lakshmi Devi comes angrily outside from, from Jagannath temple and charges towards, she literally charges towards Gundicha temple in great anger, great force, almost like taking an army with her. So Lord Chaitanya didn't want to miss this beautiful spectacle. So he personally went there. Kashi Mishra was there to receive Lord Chaitanya. He made sure a nice sitting place is there for Lord Chaitanya associates so they could see these beautiful pastimes, the rituals around these beautiful pastimes. And as Lord Chaitanya was sitting there, as Lord Chaitanya was sitting there, uh, Lord Chaitanya again goes into that mood. The whole mood is Krishna was here in Nilachal, in Dwarka. He's talking to Lord Chaitanya is talking to Swarup Damodar. All these confidential associates of relishing these deep moods of devotion you would have with Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar. So yeah, Swarup Damodar. He's asking question. Actually, devotees, when they ask each other, it's not because they don't know the answer. They want to relish that discussion. सताम प्रसंगा ममवीर संविदो भवंती हृत्कर्ण रसायन कथा तज्जोषणादि अपवर्ग वर्तमनि श्रद्धारति भक्तिर अनुक्रमिष्यति. In the association of devotees, it becomes very tasty to relish Krishna Katha. One can relish Krishna Katha with another devotee who has similar taste. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Satam prasanga mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna. The ears and the heart becomes fully satisfied. Actually, only when the heart is truly, properly satisfied in Hari Katha, then the heart loses all hankering for all material things. That is the secret. So even if right now we may not be in that state, when we keep hearing, eventually we'll come to that state when our heart becomes fully satisfied by hearing pure Krishna Katha without any material motivation. Then the heart will become very deeply satisfied. So Lord is churning that rasa. He's asking Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar, Lord Jagannath is in Puri, in Puri means in the Dwarka Dham, because Nilachal represents Dwarka. Oh, and there is such wonderful opulence and everything here. But yes, but still once a year he becomes very excited. Jagannath, he wants to visit Vrindavan. And yes, these gardens, he's pointing towards the gardens around Gundicha. These gardens, yes, they are just like Vrindavan. It's such a perfect place for Jagannath to go, fulfill his desires of being in Vrindavan. And I can understand why Jagannath is so eager to go to Vrindavan. All that I know. And this place is perfect, so I know. So actually, Jagannath just gives an excuse every year to Mahalakshmi and says, I'm just going on Rath Yatra, darshan to my devotees, I'm going out, I am, everybody's gathering. So, but that is not the real reason. That is one reason. But the real reason is he wants to go to Sundarachal. Because there he can see the residents of Vrindavan again. Because that Sundarachal, the Gundicha temple, is made like an exact replica of Vrindavan. And there, day and night, Lord Jagannath enjoys his pastimes in the various flower gardens, in the Nikunjas. All this I know. Lord Chaitanya is telling Swarup Damodar that this is Lord Jagannath's excuse. But why he doesn't take Lakshmi Devi there? Lord Chaitanya is asking Swarup Damodar. He goes alone. He doesn't. Normally, husband and wife will go together, going here and there, touring. But in this case, when he goes on Rath Yatra, he takes his brother and sister. He doesn't take his wife. Why does he not take Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, with? Swarup Damodar replies, Oh Lord, you know everything. But nonetheless, because you have asked, because you want to enjoy hearing the answer, let me tell you. The actual truth is, Lakshmi Devi is not eligible to enter Vrindavan. Huh? It's not eligible. Mahalakshmi, the wife of the Lord. No, my Lord. Only the gopis are eligible to associate with Krishna in Vrindavan. Radharani and the assistant gopis. No one but the gopis of Vraja can attract Krishna's mind in Vrindavan. They have the capacity. Actually, and Lord Chaitanya says, oh yes, that is true. He's Lord Chaitanya, Jagannath is only using this car festival as an excuse. And he goes to Vraja with Baldev and Subhadra, who are also originally residents of Braj. Okay, like that. Yeah, what you're saying is right. But then if it is like this, I understand, Sarup Damodar, what you're explaining. Then why Lakshmi Devi is getting upset? Huh? Why she is getting upset? Sarup Damodar says, oh my lord, isn't it natural? Isn't it the nature of a lady who's in love that if she finds a neglect on part of her beloved, uh, that she will become angry? So Mahalakshmi is the wife, the consort of Lord Jagannath. And here the Lord has gone and is practically seems to have forgotten her. So it is natural for her to feel neglected and to become angry. As they were discussing this, the procession of Lakshmi Devi appeared on the scene. She was riding on a golden palki carried by four men. She was bedecked with a lot of jewels, surrounded huge uh, procession, chamara, whisks, flags, musicians dancing, royal opulent procession. There were hundreds of maid servants of Lakshmi Devi who were carrying pitchers, chamaras, this boxes of betel nut, pan to give to Mahalakshmi whenever she wants. And all these maid servants were also very attractively dressed and decorated with jewels. So I'm going to stop here. It's almost 10. So we will continue because what is about to come is a very interesting episode of the interaction of the clash in the followers of Lakshmi Devi and the servants of Jagannath. So what happens next will be the interesting discussion. So we'll continue that discussion next time. So that's a very interesting discussion. So we have completed roughly half the chapter, around 130 odd verses. So we are concluding with Mother Lakshmi in this procession coming at the door of Gundicha temple finally, reaching there in that procession, a very angry mood. And what is her angry mood? Where is my husband? Why is he not back home? And Jagannath, in the meanwhile, has kept all the servants outside at the door. Make sure Lakshmi doesn't come inside. So there is an interesting clash between Lakshmi Devi and her servants and Jagannath's servants. So in the next episode, we'll discuss how that clash plays out. This beautiful transcendental exchange of rasa. So these are all very beautiful transcendental pastimes. Of course, ultimately Mahalakshmi is an expansion of Radharani only. All are goddesses of fortune, but in different manifestations, the Lord has different rasas, different relationships. He draws his own boundaries by his own sweet will in terms of what kind of relationships he manifests where. So by the Lord's own arrangements, Aishwarya Bhav has no place in Braj. Braj is all Madhurya. So Lakshmi Devi has no entrance. Interesting. Yeah. Even Lord Shiva had to transform himself into a gopi to enter Braja and enter Rasi. So Braj is a very, very special place. And we all are aspiring to attain it. That is extreme audacity on our part. We would have most certainly failed in this endeavor, even after endeavoring for millions of lives, if not for the causeless mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has come to give that Braj Prem even to the most unqualified. So Lord Gaurnitya has made that love accessible, and that is why we have any hope. That is why even we are trying. Otherwise, actually, it is uh, practically hopeless. And this is not what I am saying, but Thakur Navdeep Dham Mahatma explains this in great detail. That the abode which neither Shankar nor Lakshmi nor Shesha can attain, we jivas are trying to attain. So that is possible through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, because he opens that door out of his desire, that mood in that particular form as Lord Chaitanya, to drink the nectar of Krishna's Madhurya Ras. He wants to drink it himself and he wants to distribute it to others. So we are fortunate enough to be around, somehow receive from him, from Lord Chaitanya and his servants. We are very fortunate to receive it from Srila Prabhupada, very empowered incarnation, empowered devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Then we have that hope. Okay, so with those words, I'm going to conclude the discussion for today. So in another 2 weeks' time, we'll continue this discussion. So it's nice if you can also read the chapter and read the shlokas. It's very, very beautiful. And yeah, so thank you very much. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham. Jai Shri Yatra Mahotsav. Jai Samaveta Gauravattu. Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki. Jai. Any questions, any comments? I hope I don't know whether I'm able to narrate in a way that you are able to relish, but please forgive my inadequacies. Just trying on a best effort basis. Yeah, Tarun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Prabhuji, actually, I have a question about gopis. So, as it is mentioned in Bhagavatam, as well as we are also hearing about Lakshmi Ji cannot enter into the Vrindavan because that is only allowed for gopis. So, actually, who are gopis? And why they are being blessed with such mercy, and what did they do in their past lives to get this mercy?
So I'll give a short answer because in the next class we'll discuss this point in more detail.
Sure, Prabhu.
From the gopis. So basically we have to understand there are 2-3 aspects. One is so in Vrindavan, the real hero and heroine are Radha and Krishna. Radharani is the only one who can actually charm Krishna's heart. I'll just tell one thing. It is said even when Lord Krishna would be in Dwarka and he would be sleeping in Dwarka with Rukmini next to him. Correct? With Rukmini, his wife, right? In the middle of the night, in his dreams, Krishna, unknown to Krishna, that Rukmini is around, he would be chanting out the names of, hey Radhe, where are you? Hey Lalita, where are you? Hey Vishaka, where are you? He would be chanting the names of the gopis. Of course, this is a very transcendental situation. Normally, if a married man starts chanting the name of his girlfriends in the middle of the night with the wife next to him, he'll get badly beaten up. But the wives of Krishna would say, with us next to him also, he is not able to forget them. Rather than remembering us, he is remembering them. How great their love must be. See, devotees never think in a negative way, right? Their whole appreciation is what kind of love they have. So the nature of the love of the Brajvasis, of course, we are very small, so we cannot not so qualified to speak. But the key point of that particular love is their intense desire to please Krishna and serve Krishna at all cost. And the whole mood of the residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis, is to assist Radha and Krishna in their pastime. They don't have the Mahishi bhav. What is the Mahishi? Mahishi means queen. What does Mahishi bhav mean? I am the wife, this is my husband. My husband. The gopis, they have a sense of love that Krishna is mine, but they are not thinking of enjoying Krishna. They are thinking what Krishna likes. Oh, Krishna likes to be with Radharani. So my whole service is to how to bring Radha and Krishna together. Because nobody can please Krishna as much as Radharani. Who's Radharani? Radharani is the same absolute truth who has become into two. Right? The same truth becomes Krishna and Radha, Shakti and Shaktiman for the purpose of pleasure. So who can be more attractive than the Lord's own Swarupa Shakti, his own personal potency. So the mood of Vraja is all about how to assist Krishna and Radha in their pastimes because they find utmost happiness in each other's association. So the whole mood of Vraja, and I'm just making this very simplified, just mentioning the bottom line. The bottom line is this mood that Krishna's pleasure is so important and so exclusively important that my happiness doesn't matter at all. It is not that other pure devotees don't have that sentiment, but gopis have that to an extreme. The residents of Vrindavan have that to an extreme. And their love is of the quality of extreme sweetness and extreme intimacy, which even the Mahishis, whether they are the queens of Dwarka or whether it is the Lakshmis of Narayan, they cannot match. So what one needs to be, the simple answer is if you can develop that mood, then you can become a gopi. Yeah? That's it. I mean, that's the bottom line. So how do we develop that mood? When we follow the footsteps of the gopis, by being a servant of those who represent the gopis, to develop this mood, then under their shelter we can develop this mood. There is no other way to develop this mood. We do this by taking shelter of the spiritual masters, because the spiritual masters are already residents of the spiritual worlds. So by their favor, they give us entry into those pastimes. So Vrindavan can be attained only by invitation. Correct?
Correct.
Nowadays the talk of the town is a very famous marriage in India happening in a big industrialist family. There are multiple pre-weddings happening. Everybody wants to go there, be there. I saw a small video of the invitation card itself. This invitation itself is of many lakh rupees. So it's not easy to get that invitation, right? Yeah, and we are talking, this is just a mundane world, ordinary thing. Prabhupada gave a very simple explanation. When your consciousness becomes like the consciousness of the residents of Vrindavan, then you receive invitation. Then Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan think, what is this guy doing here in Hyderabad? Should be in Goloka. What is he doing? That consciousness is not a good fit for Hyderabad. There are enough people of Hyderabadi consciousness in Hyderabad. The Lord will send invitation. Come, spiritual world. Tarun, Puja Mataji and family, after they have completed their sojourn on earth, they can come to my divine abode. And how do we develop that consciousness? Our spiritual masters are in direct disciplic succession from Lord Chaitanya. They are representatives of the gopis and manjaris, who are the handmaid servants of the gopis. Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they are all manjaris assisting Srimati Radharani. Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, Nayana Manjari, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kamal Manjari. They are all direct eternal associates. They are not ordinary souls. They are from the Lila of the Lord. So when we are directly serving these great devotees, following their instructions, following their footsteps, they will train us in that mood which will make us eligible. And if we fall short, they will tell Krishna, "ये मेरा आदमी है, इसको ले लो अंदर. My man. I vouch for him. Can you please extend invitation?" That is the power of connection. Power of connection works here also, power of connection works there also. So it's all about connection. And that connection cannot be purchased by money. That connection cannot be purchased by influence, power. Krishna is not impressed by any of this. We can attract that invitation when we have that mood of exclusive service, Ananya Bhakti, that intense desire to serve Krishna, please Krishna at any cost. That mood of the gopis where even to relieve Krishna from one moment of his headache, if I have to go to hell for long time, not a bad deal. That's a good deal. Of course, Krishna will never do that, but that is the readiness. So when Krishna sees that kind of a readiness, so that's a very high level. But we should understand aspirationally what direction we want to go. Whether we actually are able to match that or not is a different thing altogether. Yeah, so that's basically what it is about. Huh? So it's not that to become gopis, you have to learn how to dress like gopis, how to talk like the gopis, how to dance like the gopis. All those skills you'll be trained. The most important qualification is
To feel like,
the substance of the heart. So that's what we have to prepare for. Rest will be trained. It is said, let's conclude with this remark. It is said, once you develop that consciousness, once you become qualified to enter the spiritual world, first, before going to the spiritual world, Krishna arranges for us to become born in Vrindavan, where he is descending the spiritual world and performing his Vrindavan pastime in a particular universe, wherever he's coming. Right now, he's already gone from here, so he's not going to come to this universe for another one day of Brahma. Wherever he is, he'll transfer us there so that we are born in Braj, where we are personally trained by the gopis in everything we need to be trained to actively serve Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. But the basic substance we must have. If you don't have substance, then skill is not going to get us there. And then after we are properly trained to serve Krishna, then after that life, we go to the eternal Golok, the spiritual world, where we can directly associate with Radha Krishna and their associates and participate in the Nitya Lila. Okay, does that help you?
yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
So that is our ultimate aspiration.
It's a very
Hare
long journey.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Yes, we are hopeful not because of our own applications, but we are hopeful if we remain humble servants, then somehow we may achieve the special mercy when Krishna Mahaprabhu. Okay, thank you very much. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Samaveta Jai ki. Thank you. Hari.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hari Bol, Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Sachi Prema Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, Shridevi Mataji, Dandavat, Bhaskar, Suraj, Shalini, Sridhar ji, Haribol, Sapna ji, Anand Sundari Mataji. Thank you, everyone.
Prabhuji, I just reached ISKCON Attapur. I just wanted to show you from outside.
Yes.
For the quick darshanam.
Yes,
I'm just going inside, Prabhu, for the darshan now.
wonderful, wonderful. I suggest you take nice pictures of the deities and post on the group. You know what happens usually is the live video, my own experience is the the quality of the darshan usually is not of because the camera is not steady, we are not focusing. So it's usually you know from a darshan perspective not the best. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. You're entering the temple now.
I'm just in the footstep area. I'm just going there, bro.
Okay.
Just give me a second. I'm just reaching it.
Sure. What is the name of the deities?
Radha Madhya Prabhuji.
Madhav.
I'm just going more near.
Tap on the screen to focus on the deity. It's
Just
not
a minute,
very
Prabhu.
clear.
It's not zooming in, Prabhu.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, that's what will usually happen. Session. Later, you take nice pictures and post it in the group.
Sure,
Usually hard to get a clear darshan. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav ji ki jai. Sai ki jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, everyone. So I'll see you on